Megasphaera elsdenii is a bacterium in the rumen of cattle, that too of feedlot cattle fed high-grain diet. And what Megasphaera elsdenii does in the rumen is to break down lactic acid, which is a product of starch digestion in the rumen of cattle fed high-grain diet. And because lactic acid is a strong acid, or a stronger acid compared to other acids produced in the rumen, accumulation of lactic acid would be harmful to the rumen fermentation. So Megasphaera elsdenii, by breaking down lactic acid, it converts lactic acid into short-chain fatty acids, which in fact are the major source of energy to ruminant animal. So by converting lactic acid to short-chain fatty acid, Megasphaera elsdenii helps to stabilize rumen pH, which is critical for optimal or normal rumen fermentation or ruminal digestion. In addition to Megasphaera elsdenii, there are other lactic acid utilizing bacteria in the rumen, and one of them is Selenomonas ruminantium. So in fact, both Megasphaera elsdenii and Selenomonas ruminantium would be the two major lactic acid fermenting bacteria in the rumen of grain-fed animal, that too an animal adapted to high-grain diet. But what the unique feature of Megasphaera elsdenii that does not apply to Selenomonas ruminantium is the capacity of Megasphaera elsdenii to tolerate low rumen pH and still be able to grow. So here is an experiment that shows the growth of Megasphaera elsdenii at different pH of the medium, and then the growth of Selenomonas ruminantium at the same different pH. And if you compare the growth of those two, you could see Selenomonas ruminantium growth starts decreasing when the pH of the culture goes below 6.50. If you compare that to Megasphaera elsdenii, the Megasphaera elsdenii can grow even at a pH of 5 to 5.5. So that's what makes Megasphaera elsdenii kind of a unique organism in the rumen that is able to grow at a fairly high growth rate even when the rumen pH is low. So another unique aspect of Megasphaera elsdenii is its preferential use of lactic acid when there is plenty of when there's plenty of sugars available like glucose and maltose, which are all products of starch digestion in the rumen of grain-fed animal. So this is an experiment done in a test tube where they had both glucose and lactic acid in the culture medium, and Megasphaera elsdenii was allowed to grow. And if you could see from this graph, Megasphaera elsdenii uses lactic acid first and does not use glucose at all. Once the lactic acid concentration goes to zero or almost zero, then it begins to use glucose, suggesting that if Megasphaera elsdenii has the option of using both glucose and lactic acid at the same time, it preferentially uses lactic acid. And the advantage of that is in the rumen of grain-fed animal, there is plenty of sugars and there's a lot of lactic acid. So it's important for an organism to use lactic acid first. Otherwise, if they were to use glucose, they would be producing more lactic acid and making the rumen much worse than what it is.